What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Zero to Diamond podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Carruth. I'm on a mission to help reduce the failure rate in the real estate industry by helping you master your skills on the phone, conquer your fears, and changing your mindset. Now let's get into the show.
All right, guys, what is up? How we doing? Welcome to the Zero to Diamond podcast. As always, I'm your host, Ricky Carruth. I'm really excited about today's show. I got one of my best buddies in the world, Dusty Cole, on the program. So real quick, a couple of things about Dusty. Are you there, Dusty?
I'm here.
All right, you kind of froze up on me for a second. So Dusty, me and Dusty go way back. We went to high school together. This guy was a freshman when I was a senior, and he was our high school quarterback. Now, you were a sophomore.
Sophomore, I think. Yeah.
Sophomore. Yeah. So he was our quarterback. So he was one of those like up and coming guys, like sophomore, starting on the varsity squad, just killer, dude, just like throwing touchdowns left and right.
Yeah.
But when it came to like practice and stuff and like defense versus offense, I was a linebacker / defensive end, and it wasn't too pretty for him on that side of the program. But this guy's been in the business for 3 years.
This is the third full-time year.
Yeah. So Dusty started with a different company, and then he came to Remax of Orange Beach. He works right down the hall from me. And so it's been really cool to see Dusty, you know, the old high school quarterback, come in, and because I didn't talk to him between high school and now, really. I mean, we didn't really have much connection. So just to not talk to him for all that time and then turn around and like, here he is, he's crushing it. I mean, this guy came in very focused. Like Dusty, the one thing I know about Dusty is super, super focused. So, man, I guess just maybe introduce yourself, because I don't think a lot of people know exactly who you are, and maybe give a little background how you got into real estate, and then we'll get into, you know, your sales and stuff.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me on. I know you've been, having a lot of consistency and a lot of success with this podcast, so I appreciate the invite. It seems like to be a lot of fun. My history, I'm from the area. I'm local, from Foley. I worked for 12 years for a family business. It's a family entertainment center where we do bowling, arcade, laser tag. So that's kind of was my first kind of career before I got into real estate. But how I got into real estate was I started to earn and save my money, and I bought an investment property, in about 2011 or 12. And then I bought another one. And the broker I was using at that time, he was like, man, you got to get your real estate license. You seem to have a passion for, kind of studying and finding deals. So I literally, after I was sitting in his office, he gave me that idea. Literally that night I enrolled and had my real estate license in like 6 weeks. So I took it and when I started to kind of do it, I figured out this was my passion. So I had a really hard decision to leave a family business where I could have been comfortable for the rest of my life working and start a real estate career, from zero.
I got you. So when was that? Like, what year did you get your license?
I think that, like right around beginning of 2015, and I did it part-time in 2015. I just kind of did my deals and a few others while I continued to work full-time. And then January 1, 2016, I went full-time and came to Remax.
January in 2016?
16, yeah.
Okay, so you've had 2 full years at Remax, basically.
That's right.
Okay, so take me through the timeline of events from your first year at Remax. What did you sell? How much?
First year at Remax, I think I did about 45 transactions for about, like 215,000 gross commissions. My first full year in real estate. I'm not sure what the volume was that year, but those were the numbers. That was single agent, no assistant at that time.
Yeah. And then last year, your second full year.
Second full year, I was able to bring on my wife, who's very talented, and she does not sell. She only does admin, so especially like an assistant. And now she's moved on. We've got a different title for her. But second year, we did 88 sides, 88 transactions for about 19 million and about 520,000 gross commissions.
So you doubled your business from 2016 to 2017.
Yes, and then some.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So what do you what do you think the bottom line was for you to double your business year over year?
One, effort. You know, I mean,
You put forth more effort?
What's that?
I mean, you've always put forth a lot of effort. You put forth more effort?
Well, I guess not, but I think consistent effort, you know, it starts to kind of snowball. You know,
so you were more consistent in 2017 than 2016. I'm trying to figure out the difference in 16 and 17.
I got my skills got better. You know, I was able to expand. You know, I farm. I was able to expand our farm, spend more money. I got a lot better on the phone. So from day one, I understood that all the top producers in our market and most other markets, or that I wanted to emulate, they were building their business on the phone. They were calling different types of prospects, but I got that from the very beginning, and I call prospect almost every day, the whole time. So I would say I got better at that, and I was able to book more appointments, and I got better when I'm sitting in their living room, converting it and getting the listing. Does that answer your question?
So maybe you didn't do more business, or like maybe you didn't do more activities. You just got better at what you were doing.
I think so. Yeah, definitely got better at what I was doing, and I got more. I wasted less time. And I got more efficient in what I was doing. And then plus adding Heather, as an assistant creates a ton of leverage. And it took me a while to kind of let go. But the more I let go, the more money I made. Yeah.
What were you worried about letting go?
Mostly the transactional stuff. Like scheduling appraisals and inspections and just trying to jump in on every little email, that was to her that I was copied on. Just detaching and trusting her to do her job, and me focusing on the dollar productive activities, of talking to customers and clients.
Adam wants to know, 45, your first year alone, where did that business come from?
Both years it's pretty much, well, in 17 it was a little different, but I'd say 30 to 35% of my business comes from farming, can be directly linked back to a postcard or a piece of mail. The other, let's see, I'm trying to think, 16. I have a lot of sphere of influence business. I'd probably say another 30 to 35% is just people who know me on Facebook. I think on Facebook I've been able to build a story, of just kind of success a little bit, but do it I try to do it in a humble way, where people say, this guy's selling a lot of real estate. I know him. He's trustworthy. Let me call him. So a lot of business came that way also. And some were just calls. I also work expireds, which was a lot more in 2017.
You worked more expireds in 2017?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, ask questions. I'm also live on Instagram. So if you guys are watching on Instagram and you want to ask a question, go ahead and type it in. So let's see. Scott Davis wants to know, was the market also better in 2017 compared to 16?
I don't think so. I mean, inventory was a little bit was less, but I wouldn't consider the market better. I mean, prices were 10% higher and inventory was 20% less. But I mean, I don't think that's a contributing factor to the growth. I don't think at all.
Yeah. I mean, the whole supply and demand thing, it's like, it's really not even a factor because you're calling people just to see what they want to do. And the fact is that people want to buy or sell because something's going on in their life. And so they decide that they want to do it or they have to do it. It's not really about the market, And
I'll add, I did also my share of circle prospecting, which was the first phone calls I ever made because I saw you and a lot of other people in our office doing them. And I've been able to develop a lot of relationships that way that were deals, really not in 16, but in 17, because it takes a while on those.
Yeah. So Martell, I believe, is a part-time agent. He's a part of the Zero to Diamond coaching group, and he wants to know what was your schedule like back when you were started part-time?
Well, I had a lot of freedom in my last job, and I worked 12-hour days, really. So what I would do sometimes is I would come into the real estate office from like 8 to 10, and I would work my real estate business, and then I would go to the, it was a bowling center, and I would go there after and work 10 to like 8. But I was able to have the freedom where if my phone rang, I was kind of the boss, right? So I just walk outside and handle it, and come back in. But there came a point where the real estate business grew where it was not going to work like that anymore. It wasn't fair to who was paying me a salary. So I knew that was going to happen, and it did.
What's your listing to buyer ratio?
2017, it was about like 65% listings, 35% buyers. I did quite a few buyers. I currently carry about 35 listings, but I think that was 17. And 16, it was probably more like 50-50 in 2016.
I missed that. What was it in 17?
17 was about 65% listings, 35% buyer, but in 16 it was about 50-50.
Yeah. Mine is normally 30-70, but out of the last maybe 20 deals, I think I did maybe 10 or 12 buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it comes back to, I'm not a listing agent, I'm a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Like I just want to help people do what they want to do, and the inventory is so low. It's just hard. Sellers don't want to sell. So I think it depends on the market. I think people pay too much close attention to buyer to listing ratio and this and that. And if they're a listing agent or a buyer's agent, I think they just need to just help people.
I'm with you on that. I don't really like the terms, specialists, and that's kind of trendy in some brokerages, but trying to be a specialist, I like to be a well-rounded agent.
Yeah. I don't mind being a Gulf Coast specialist.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
I don't mind being a specialist of my area, but I don't want to be a listing specialist or a buyer specialist, or whatever. So Adam thinks he sounds like you knew a lot of people who just happened to need a realtor in 2016.
I still had to convince them to use me, I knew a lot of people who needed a realtor in 2016. That's kind of the name of the game, isn't it? So I guess that's right. Yeah, I want to know a lot of people who needed a realtor. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he also goes on to ask how many transactions came from complete strangers via telephone prospecting in 2016.
I don't know. I can't answer that. I can't remember.
Do you think it was more like you closed more deals from your sphere of influence, or more deals from strangers, or half and half?
I'd probably say definitely not half and half. I did a ton of open houses. I dominated certain neighborhoods. Certain neighborhoods, there's only 100 houses, and I'd sold 7, 8, 9, 10 houses in one neighborhood through farming and holding open houses and meeting everybody. So I'd say a lot of my buyers I have known my buyers, but the sellers, I knew none of them. So none of the sellers were just, hey, this is so easy, Dusty, please be my realtor. But I don't know the percentage.
So you're saying you did a lot more than 50% of people that you did not know?
I'd say so, yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, real quick, I got some Instagram. One guy wants to know, what site is this broadcast from? Hey, man, it's on the Zero to Diamond Real Estate Agent Facebook group. Zero to Diamond Real Estate Agent Facebook group. Another question on Instagram is what's your vision on interest rates?
Not an expert there.
There's no way to know what interest rates are going to do. So Can't really answer your question, man. But type in something else. Be glad to get with you. Got another question. How many transactions did you close just due to farming in 2017?
I do know that. So it was 30% of my business, and I did 88 deals. So what's that, about 25, something like that?
Yeah.
And some of those became buyers, that's just listings.
What kind of information do you put on your direct mail marketing to your farm?
All kinds of different stuff. Of course, I do just listed, sometimes a pending, always a just sold. I'll also send out postcards around open houses. Those have been very successful, inviting them to the open house so I can meet them and develop the relationship. Also, if I'm if I haven't sold in that neighborhood, I'll send them market statistics or something just to get in front of them. But just something of value. Of course we want to say, yeah, look at me, I'm great, but you can't do that over and over again. You got to give them something that is of value to them. So everybody wants to know what's going on in their neighborhood and what how much more their house is worth this year versus last year. That's that sort of thing.
Yeah. So do you put specific, how do you show them? You just show them trends, or what average price per square foot? Or, you can't tell somebody on a postcard exactly what their house is worth.
I'll say price is up 10%, and tell them what month over month, days on market down, 20%. And I'll put a picture of our, community behind it. I've done that a lot. Yeah. So general statistics, that I'm not promoting other people's sales. I'm just giving general, market stats. But most of the stuff is just listed, just sold. And if it's something special about the sale, in 2 days, 3 days, a week, I'll definitely add that on there.
Yeah. So just general stuff, and then every once in a while you'll throw something about something you sold, or hey, look at me, and then just try to mix it up with general market information, maybe specific to their neighborhood, and then stuff about you.
Yeah, and I've done a little more creative stuff. If you look at 88 sales over 365 days, you can say something creative like Dusty sells a house every so many days, that's catchy. Or, or I've also, what's very effective is sending a production map. That's what everybody should be doing. And I probably shouldn't even share that, but you should also be sending a production map. They look at that, right? And all these pins all over the map. We've done that a dozen times. So people want to hire an agent that's productive. They ran into so many part-time lifestyle agents. When they see a productive agent, it gets their attention.
So you mean make a map and put pins on every property that you sold?
Yep. You look at our Baldwin County. If I can look at it, and if I did 2018, you have 88 pins all over the map. And that's an effective piece.
Interesting. And you say you shouldn't say that? What's up with that?
Oh, well, I was just kidding. I just think that's a good marketing piece,
Oh yeah, for sure, man. So Adam wants to know, do you pay Zillow? How many transactions have you closed from those leads?
Good question. I don't pay for Zillow for me at all as a single agent. I do not ever recommend paying Zillow for a single agent. But in 2018, I've started a team, and I have 2 other excellent agents on my team that I have started to pay Zillow to funnel leads to those agents. But if I was a single agent, I wouldn't. What I do believe is building your Zillow profile, because I believe sellers go on there and they shop agents. They want to look at your reviews and your past sales. So that's crucial. I've gotten several listings like that, but not. So if you have a team, I think Zillow's okay. If you have a conversion strategy, single agent, I didn't do it.
Yeah, for sure. As a single agent, you have to do what's most efficient, and Zillow leads just are not efficient. Okay, bro, here we go. Mark Gulen here wants to know, do you time block your schedule for prospecting? And if yes, what are the hours you do the time blocking and make those calls?
I do. Of course, nobody's perfect at that. That's the age-old struggle. But I think I do it fairly well. 8 to 10 in the morning is the time that I, try like hell to prospect. Sometimes I'll do it again in the afternoon. Like yesterday, I didn't have any appointments. I did 8, 10 in the morning, and then like 4 to 5:30 in the evening again. Had like 25 conversations and dialed about 100 people. But normally when I'm booking up, like today, I had like a 9:30 listing appointment, and that you can't just say no, so it screwed me up. I could have tried to move it the afternoon, but he couldn't. But 8 to 10 is the desired, because once you get going in your day, I always try to do appointments in the afternoon, calling in the morning, team meeting stuff right before lunch.
Tell me about like getting upset if you don't make the calls you wanted to make because something came up. You had a showing, you had a listing appointment, something came up. You didn't get to make the calls you wanted to. You want to make calls every day. You want to make this amount of calls. You want to call every day between 10 and 9 and 11 or 12 or whatever, and you don't make those calls. What happens in your mind?
I know that I need to make the calls if I want my business to continue to grow. But if I look back, if I could have moved that appointment around, I just try to learn from it, with my dialogue when I made that appointment, and get more confident that they're not going to go away if I say, no, I cannot meet at 10, let's meet at 1. But it doesn't bother me too bad, because we're doing a lot of deals, but I just try my best to stick to that if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, they say, I want to make calls between 9 and 12 or whatever, or 1 and 3 or whatever every day. And then, as a business owner, things come up and you can't do that every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get thrown off track and then they get discouraged and then they just quit making calls and they just make it, they start going out that, you just start going downhill.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think a big thing with the time blocking is that, like Dusty said, you try to move stuff around that comes up, but then when you can't move it around, you do it because you have to do it, but then you don't let it get you off track. And you come back in the next day and just continue on whatever your goals were for those calls.
Yep, that's right. And some people try to make them up, on a weekend or a call night, like a team call night or something like that.
Yeah. So Shauna wants to know, who do you use to send out the postcards?
A couple of different sources. We have a company called Geographic Farming that we started about a year and a half ago. I bought into them to try to make it a little more automated. They have templates you can choose from. They send them out. It's going pretty good. Then we use, then Heather has a template we use. We use Vistaprint. Where she just changes the just sold and the picture of the property and sends them. So we use both of those. Geographic Farming is every month to the same addresses no matter what, which I like because we don't have to think about it. And then we'll use Vistaprint for the other stuff, that might be outside of that farm.
How much is that?
Go ahead.
How much is that Geographic Farming or whatever?
I think I pay $600 a month for about 600 addresses. So it's a little more. It's actually quite a bit more, but it comes with a seller landing page, like a home valuation site that I don't even use anymore. So it's really overpaying for it, but I kept it just so I don't have to work full with it.
Yeah, just for the consistency.
Yeah.
For sure, man, for sure. So to follow up with the question on telephone prospecting, do you have a script, cold calling regimen to generate leads, or does most of your lead generation come through passive marketing, mailing, billboards, Zillow, etc.?
I call expireds. So I first call expireds, and then I would call circle prospecting in buildings or neighborhoods around where I just sold or I just listed. I do have a kind of a script for expireds. I'm not aggressive. I'm not trying to perfectly handle every objection and book an appointment. I'm trying to just see what's going on with that property. Let them know my name, see if there's still a motivation to sell. If it goes well, maybe I will ask for an appointment. Usually I have to call back several other times and check in with them. The cold call script is very similar to what you do. Usually it's around something I just sold, and I will call and I'll ask them if they want to hear about the condo I just sold in their building. Most people say yeah, and I tell them about it. If it goes well, I'll transition into maybe the email script that you use, trying to get their email to stay in touch with them.
So what he's saying is does most of your business come from those cold calls to try to set appointments and generate leads, or does most of your leads come through the passive marketing, the mailing, the billboards, Zillow? What side of it, the going after the deals or letting them come to you? Where's most of your business coming from?
2017, 25% was expireds. 30% was farming, so that I guess that would be stuff coming to me. But we're also doing open houses, and we're also calling those people. So it's not completely just send a mail and you call me. So that's 55%. Then by the other 30% was sphere of influence, past clients, referring me business. The other 10 to 15% is just like, internet leads and, stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good breakdown. So Adam wants to know what did those 25 deals, I guess, that you got from Postcards cost you in 2017?
We spend about $1,200 a month Postcards, so 12 to 14,000, and I made 125,000. So decent return.
Pretty good, huh?
I'll keep doing it.
I spend about $3,000 a month on Postcards.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I
can't tell you what I made off of them though.
Yeah, a lot more than me.
Well, I mean, I don't know what I made off the Postcards. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Let's see if there's any more questions on Instagram right quick. Don't see nothing. Okay, guys, if you have any more questions for us, let us know. We're just going to be hanging out, chit-chatting about stuff, all that. So, man, big year coming up. What's your goals for 2018?
Good question. So now, we have a team, two agents, and then Heather and I. My goal personally is 600,000 gross commissions. I want to bring in 50,000 a month in my production. And the other two team members, their goal is another 400 together. So as a team, we want to do 1 million, and then we want to do 170 transactions. We may achieve one goal and not the other, but those are the team goals.
Mm-hmm. So basically, what are your team members doing? Like, you're buying Zillow leads for them, and then are they doing anything else to achieve more transactions other than just the bought leads?
Yeah, the Zillow is a very, very, very small portion. We are not relying on that. That is just an extra little lead flow. We own a CRM and website called Commissions Inc., who also does Google leads. It also operates as our CRM. So we get Google leads, Zillow leads, and the agents also work their sphere of influence, and they also work for sell by owners. And that's really, that's the lead pillars that they've been working.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Cool. So they're doing it all.
We're trying to, but it has to be first for them is the Google and the Zillow, because those are paid leads. So, the only rule is we got to work those first, whenever we're caught up, then we call the next batch.
Do they have a different split between leads that you give them versus leads that they produce on their own?
No, it's all 50-50 because of the value of the team. I'm paying all their fees. I'm a resource for them. We give them an office. We give them, signs and would pay for everything except their gas and to maintain their real estate license. So it gives them plenty of leverage to not have to have expenses, opportunity to be in the business, but their clients are their clients though. So that's another team leaders, like I encourage them when they have a client, that's their client for life if they do the right things, so they can still build a past client database, which is what we all want.
Is there are their goals to like learn and be single agent, or they you feel like they're with you for long term, or what your
I don't know. I think they're with me for the medium term at least,
Yeah.
I hope they're with me long term because they're fantastic people and real estate agents. So
Right.
high energy and effort people.
That was a tough thing for me with the team because, once you teach somebody and they're doing so well, it's like, okay, well, why should I give you 50% anymore, But,
Yep.
That's just a struggle I have. Adam wants to know, hey, I'm thinking about farming a luxury gated community. Sounds like it'd be worth it. So I'll answer this, man. Absolutely. I mean, for one, dude, farming is not just sending postcards, right? Farming is calling, emailing, door knocking, signs up around there. I mean, like, farming is like farming. Like it's everything. It's not just a mailing that you're going to send. It's everything. It's Facebook ads. It's everything. Instagram, it's social media, it's Zillow, it's the whole package. So everything put together is farming, not just postcards. Right, Dusty?
And you're in it for the long term. I mean, if you start mailing a gated community, you need to be thinking 2019, I'm going to see, you may get deals before that, but it is just such a long-term play, that most people get out too quick. But once you get one in the farm, you need to be like, oh, hell yeah, I'm about to do all of them, and that's the mindset that you should have if you get a listing in your farm.
Yeah, it gives you something to talk about, a reason to call the owners, get to know them better, start that relationship, go deeper.
It's my favorite part, right? I'm sure it's you. You're trying to leverage that listing into 10 more.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. So Renee wants to know, can you give us an example of a voicemail that you leave for a prospect if you don't get them live on the phone?
Depends on what type of prospect. If it's an expired, I'll just leave a message and just say, hey, I'm just calling to check on the property. Is it still for sale? I'm not trying to, I don't say, hey, you want to list again? I'm just saying, what's the status? Did you decide not to sell? If it's an internet lead, I'll say something like, I'm just calling to check and see how our website is treating you. Are you getting all the information you need? We're here for you if you need any help. Dusty Cole, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely leave voicemails for the circle prospecting. I'll drop a voicemail saying, we just sold unit, 1, 2, 3 in your building. We'd love to speak with you. If you'd like to learn more, call me at blah, blah, blah.
Excellent. Yeah, to me, the voicemail is like a digital, or like an audio billboard, like it should be more of a branding tool than a how do I get this person to call me back tool, because they didn't answer for a reason. Very few people are going to call you back. A lot of times they won't answer the second, third time you call. So it's good to just leave a very professional sounding, confident sounding voicemail. And that way they hear your voice. They thought it sounded good. Now they see your signs around town. They see they see your postcards and all that stuff. And then, like I said, it's the whole package that brings people in.
I love that. And I'll add on that, Ricky, that over time, they'll also appreciate that you're working hard and, that you're out trying, so that's, yeah.
Hey, Victor here has a question on Instagram. He wants to know, what advice would you give a new agent with a small budget?
Phone and hold open houses and door knock the houses around the open house. I'll tell you one thing I did when I started. I had like 2,000 contacts in my phone, and I just started dialing people in my phone And that kind of goes back to 2016. Yet I did a lot of deals with people who knew me, but I was dialing everybody I knew saying, hey, not, hey, come do business with me. It's just, hey, I just want to let you know that I just switched to RE/MAX of Orange Beach. I know we've been friends a long time. I just wanted you to know if there's anything I can ever do for you, you know where to find me. And I went through my phone from top to bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. So Victor, like I would just agree with Dusty, but the cheapest thing is phone.
Yeah.
Like that's the cheapest thing. You already have a cell phone. You just typed in a question on Instagram, so you have a phone. Like you're already paying for the phone, so call people, right? And if it were me, I'm gonna call. If all I had was $50 a month, I would get RedX Geo leads, pick out a subdivision, and start calling property owners and start developing relationships with those people as well as everybody I know in the world. Hey, I'm Victor with Whatever Realty. If there's anything I could do for you, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it, Victor. That's how you really get started, get your foot in the door, do a few deals with some people you know, do a few deals with some people you don't know, and then learn from all those experiences and just continue to grow and get better and better and better.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Adam wants to know how many deals you did. How many deals did the team members do in 2017?
We really weren't a team in 2017 per se. Our second team member didn't start till really January 1st of this year. I did have Joe, which was a new agent, which he was just kind of coming along on his own, but he did like 4 or 5 deals. He started like in June. So they were coming along, so January 1, we really started branding as a team of 2018. And so far they have done about 5 deals in January. Joe has about $1.5 million under contract, Gulf front house and a house on Ono Island. So he's thrilled, and Glee has closed 3 or 4 in January. About 25,000 in gross commissions Glee has in January.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive, man. You really got that team. You really got those people they're like soldiers, man. You got them lined up, man, saluting.
Yeah, they're incredible.
Okay, JJ wants to know who owns the database. I think he's talking about your database versus your team members' database and so on and so forth.
Well, I definitely own the database, so I mean, it's in my CRM. I'm assuming he's talking about if these agents leave, would they take those leads with them? No, but they could take their relationships with them, so, but obviously I own, the CRM.
So
I don't have any worries about that sort of thing, trying to make sure that, everything happens, we don't steal any of their leads or vice versa. I feel like our people are just good people, and, we're going to be fine.
So if they circle prospect and get a lead from that goes in your CRM?
It does.
And you say you own the CRM, like it's your own company?
No. I just pay for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When you said own, I was like, shoot, that's just getting in the CRM business.
He wants, if he was asking what type of CRM, it's a Commissions Inc.
Cool. Karen wants to know if you have a listing in your farm area, can you go back to RedX for numbers and recall that area about your listing?
I think they have a function for that. I don't use RedX, but I think they have like a function where you can pull the numbers around a listing.
Karen, I don't know exactly what you're trying to ask. Like if you have a listing in your farm area, can you go back to RedX for not? Yeah. Put the listing in Geo leads and then find all the numbers around it and start dialing away. You can dial your little heart away. But Karen, I wasn't being smart aleck. Type in a further, explanation of what you're asking there if we didn't answer it, so that we can be more clear on what the question is, so I can definitely get you the correct answer. Okay, here's Adam. We know this is going to be good. He says, this is for both of you. How important is the brand you're with? I'm seriously thinking of going solo. It's $2,000 for me to open my own brokerage. I paid $15,000 to my brokerage last year, and I feel like I don't need the brand.
You want to go first for me?
Yeah. So, Adam, here's the thing, man. $2,000 to open up the brokerage, but then what? You got to pay rent for an office building. You got higher fees with the board. You got to pay utilities. There's all kinds of liability insurance you got to have. There's a lot of fees, right? So that's the first part, is that it's not going to be cheaper for you to have your own brokerage, unless maybe you find some hole in the wall office that's like $200 a month somewhere and all that. And if you have that, it's not professional, right? You're going to lose business due to the brand. If you're a no-name brand, right? You're going to do so much better if you see, here's the other thing, Adam, that you're not thinking about. No, Adam, I don't think you can work from your home. I mean, in Alabama, you have to have a commercial location with a sign. So I don't know where you're at, or if that's a state law, or if that's just a across the board law. But where I'm at, you got to have a commercial place to put a sign in place. Okay, so going back to what I was saying, on top of all the extra costs that would be involved, even if it is $2,000 a year, right, for you to have your own thing, I still believe in the fact that letting the broker, putting all the liability onto the broker and letting him handle that. It's not on your shoulders. You let them handle that. On top of that, you actually do have a brand. So to answer your question about the brand, yes, I think the brand is for real, very seriously important. Now, I've always said it doesn't matter where you work. It just matters how hard you work. That's in the beginning when you're trying to figure it out. Like, yeah, work wherever you want to. And if you can't make it in a small company, you're not going to make it at a big company. But when you get to where you want to be and you understand real estate, now it's time to figure out what brand I want to align myself with. Because brand does matter in the end. In the beginning, it doesn't, because you're trying to figure it out and you just got to work hard. So Adam says, I'll check into that. I know a lot of brokers on their own from home. Yeah, you should check into stuff like that before you start thinking about, I'm going to open up my own company. That might be the first thing to kind of figure out is, what's the laws? What am I going to be responsible for? Is it really $2,000, or do I have to have extra stuff? Yeah, E&O insurance does cover liability. E&O insurance costs a lot of money. It's not free. Anything to add, Dusty?
I mean, I would say, I would ask him, are you inspired in where you're at? I mean, what the company you're at? I mean, for me, I wouldn't want to open a brokerage, right? In this stage of my career, I want to spend the time growing with the clients, and be client focused. But as far as where I hang my hat, I want to be inspired, by the people around me, So, I would just kind of check that. Am I inspired by the people around me, as far as where you hang your hat?
Yeah. And Adam, too, I see here you say $60 a month coverage for E&O. I don't know if you got a quote for that, because I believe you're going to see that it's a lot different when you actually own the company and it's for a company. Maybe not. I don't know. But taking the cost out of it, I still feel like brand's where it's at. And when you're making your calls and you're trying to get business, a lot of times it's all about you making them feel comfortable, right? And you can win a lot of business. I made $150,000 with Poole & Associates, which is a very small company down here before it came to RE/MAX, which was great. But then when I came to RE/MAX, I went from that to 400,000, the next year, and then 600, 750, $1 million, already popped 125 this month. So no, I think brand is a big deal, and that you should really think hard about this. Let's see. Mark wants to know, speaking of real estate brands, I've been being recruited hard by multiple EXP agents. Are they hitting the both of you up too?
I've been contacted by them, but I haven't really. I know they're a growing company, but I have no interest in. I'm very happy where I am.
I've definitely been hit up by them. I'm getting hit upside the head. Mm-hmm. They're sending me videos and all kinds of stuff constantly about you know, why it's great and all this stuff. And I mean, here's my thoughts. Number one, you know, I've branded myself with Remax for the last 7 years. And Remax is the #1 company in my area. We don't even have an EXP in this area, I don't believe. So I mean, that's one thing. Another thing is when you have these fly-by-night companies who might make it big, who are trying to give you profit share back of the company, and it's a really low desk fee. This is what you got to watch out for, guys. The fact that they're picking up every little agent here and there that there is. And what it does is it waters down the quality of your agents in that company, and you end up with a lot of agents that don't make it, that don't sell a lot, and you end up with a company that has a very low income per agent.
Yeah.
Right? Remax system is set up where there's a desk fee, and there's things you have to pay, and you have to sell a lot of property to be at Remax. And so it creates an environment where it's just top producers. You know, no company touches Remax's income per agent. Like it's staggering how way ahead of the game Remax is income per agent. And Adam has a statement here. What's the deal with KW claiming to be #1 when Remax has always been? Okay, the thing about it is this: they have more agents than Remax, right? They've surpassed us on number of agents, but our income per agent crushes KW and every other company out there. So if you want to be where a bunch of lower producers are, see, you're going to be who you are, like who you hang out with. You are whoever your closest 5 friends are. And I would rather go to work every day with the highest producers as I can possibly be around. Right. And I'm not going to choose a company based on profit sharing or, what they're going to give me or how cheap their fees are. Right. I want to be in the company that's going to give me the best opportunity to be around top producers. So that's my thoughts on that. Let's see. Dusty, any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, the desk fee, it's really, I mean, if you're not going to produce, Remax probably isn't a good place for you. But if you do produce, the amount that we keep is really as good or more than the other brokerages. You know, if you just produce 100,000, you're basically at an 80-20. You know,
Yeah.
if you use 500, you're like at a 90-10 or whatever. So I mean, it becomes
Realtor Philly on Instagram. I see you said next topic. Okay, here we go. I was fixing to say, please type in a question. Realtor Philly wants to know, how do you go after non-sphere of influence clients?
Expireds and circle prospecting, postcards. I mean, all those people are people I don't know. Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah, Realtor Philly, basically property owners, like mailing postcards to property owners. But the bigger thing is that voice-to-voice conversation and getting to know them, letting them know that you're here to help them when they decide to buy or sell, which may be today.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's see. Adam says everyone knows who Remax is. We don't even have a KW here. Yeah. So guys, give me some more questions on Instagram. Give us some more questions on Facebook. We're just going to continue just chilling here for another 10 minutes or so. After this, I'm going to switch over to our group coaching call this week. It's going to be, I'm going to be going after old expireds. I'm going to be teaching how to find old expireds, what to say to old expireds, how to convert old expireds, and how to make it happen. It's a gold mine. Old expireds is a gold mine because nobody's hit it. Do you call old expireds, Dusty?
Well, I'm starting to where I haven't gone back and pulled a certain old expireds, but when you work expireds for such a long, I've worked them for a year or so. Now I've got a whole group of expireds that never relisted that are old expireds, and so I would say yes. I've got a whole bucket of people that expired in 2016 and 17 that have not relisted, which is really a gold mine.
Have you went after them?
Yeah, we call them, and we also have a mail plan that we use for expireds.
Cool. So Realtor Philly wants to know, how much do you spend monthly on marketing?
Let's see, for the it's a little different now for the team, because we have a team, but I would say, about $2,500 a month.
And that's it. That's Zillow and Postcards.
Zillow, Postcard, and just mail, and then the CRM and the Google leads.
Yeah. Cool. 2,500 a month. That sounds pretty low.
That's what it is, I think.
That's good.
Yeah.
Shoot, I spend more than that on Postcards.
I mean, that doesn't count our fees and all that. That's
Sure.
just, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Realtor Philly wants to know, is there a confirmed return on that 2,500 a month?
I mean, the return on the postcards we already talked about. It's about, I spent about 12 or 13,000, made about 125,000. The other part, let's see. I pay another 1,000 for the commission zinc, which is Google leads. I don't have a return. I haven't been doing it long enough to measure that.
So to answer your question, Realtor Philly, yes, it's big, because he spent about 14,000 on Postcards, made about 120,000, and then off the Zillow, he also crushed it there. So big return, huge return. Realtor Philly, I like the questions. Keep them coming. Let's see. So we got about 8 or so more minutes. So I got a couple of questions. We're going to run through them. Okay, Dusty?
All right.
All right. One on Instagram is, do you have a marketing budget for listings? How much for each listing? I guess, like, when you get a listing, what do you do? I think the question is about, once you get the listing, what do you do? What do you spend marketing it, each one?
Yep. Every listing I get, I pay for professional photography. It costs me about $180. Depending on the price point of the listing, I may also do a drone video, which is about another $220. So in between $200 and $500 on the marketing, and then I do postcards. So depending on the size of the neighborhood, say if it's 500 houses, I'm going to send just listed to 500 houses, which costs about another $350.
Nice.
So about $1,000.
$1,000 a listing.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. What are your long-term goals?
You mean like professionally?
Everything.
I have a hard time projecting out longer than a year. I mean, I don't know. I know you can see yourself. I just try to chop away at one kind of year's goals at a time. So I'm gonna get to 1 million gross commissions with our team this year, and by the fall of this year, I'll know what 19 and 20 I want to go after. As far as growing the team, we'll probably have to hire another admin, and I'm testing and interviewing ISAs to see if that's going to fit what we want to do. To pour a little more gasoline on what we're doing.
Okay, cool. So what about personally? Like, do you have a net worth goal or a 10-year goal or something personally?
I really don't. We've purchased a lot of investment properties. I just think I just work as hard as I can every day and make the best decisions I can every day to try to grow as much, wealth as I can for my family. And I don't really get out too far with it. I'm very, you say I'm focused at the beginning. I'm very focused on today. I'm not sure if that's a fault or not.
Yeah, it's working. So, if it ain't broke.
Yeah. Some people dream and they get all out in the future too much, and they can't do the actions, that it takes today,
I think for me, I'm real focused on today. And then I just have that one little dot, that one little just boop, that one little thing out there, way out there,
I just thought of one goal, I want to be the top agent in our market, that's my goal. And it should be everyone's goal.
You're going to have to get up way earlier and start eating a lot more Wheaties, man, to do that.
Yeah. I'm going to have to switch sides in this interview.
I mean, if you maybe I don't know. We'll see. Maybe you guys can start as a team. Maybe you guys can start, maybe competing with me a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm gonna do 1.5 this year commissions, just me.
I know you are. Hey, that's the goal though.
They're not made to hit, made to motivate. Hey, so what do you also do some investing on the side? If so, what kind? Real estate investing.
Definitely. That's what got me into the business. I've done anything from long-term to short-term rentals. I've flipped about 20 properties in my career, I guess you'd say. A lot of foreclosures, courthouse sales, bought several properties in the downturn. Ricky and I have done some business together in that same, field. So that is a goal of mine. I want to build enough, real estate equity, to where we can live off that, whenever I want to stop selling real estate, whenever that day comes.
Do you want to have rental properties?
That comes and goes with me. When the market changes, I'm always reevaluating the equity I have in all of our properties and whether I should take that equity or not. But yeah, I would say, yeah, absolutely. I want to always have some cash flow. It's just I can't really decide how much I want and how much cash I want, because we're going to need cash when the market crashes again.
I want to buy some apartment complexes, man.
Or big box commercial.
Yeah.
Those are goals of mine. Yep.
Yeah, I want to get into that. So, do either of you do door hangers or every door mailing from the post office? If so, what are the results, and what should you put on them to make them highly convert?
I've never done door hangers. I've knocked on doors, and only time I've ever knocked on doors is around an open house. I'll knock on the door, invite them to the open house, hand them a flyer and a business card, and invite. Every door, I think he's talking about Every Door Direct. I'm not familiar with that program, but I mean, I mail to a certain farm every month.
I've seen that. I've seen that post office thing. You can put in a zip code or whatever, and they'll mail to everybody. I've seen that before. Look, man, Franklin, man, just to be honest with you, one door hanger, one postcard is not going to do it. It's the consistency over time that's going to get you where you want to be. And it really doesn't matter what you put on it, to be honest with you. As long as your name and contact information is there and they see that you're sending them something every month or every 6 weeks or whatever the case may be for a long period of time, they're eventually going to know who you are, but you have to follow that up with phone calls and all the other forms of communication. Do you do any paid social media advertising?
We do some. We do boost our listings, and we do. We do try to convert leads that way. I know Ricky's not a proponent of that, but we do some of that. And we do boost our listings, with a landing page, where they click, and we try to capture their information and try to convert that.
Yeah.
But we also, I've done a lot of videos, interviews, like I'll interview a local attorney, mortgage officer, or whatever, or like a high school football coach, or people like that. I'll have that video produced, and I'll do paid ads with that. That's branding. You're getting in front of all those people's sphere of influence, and they're able to see that you're intelligent, a good communicator, that you connect with all these people, and I blast that out on social media.
Nice. If you're a new agent coming into real estate, what do you wish you knew that you know now?
All those, just talking to people is the only thing that really makes money. Don't worry about how pretty your Facebook is, or your business card, or all the minutia. It takes a long time to really figure out that doesn't matter as much. So I would just focus more on talking to people in the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ricky told me when I first started Remax, he said, I'll give him a little credit here. Whoever talks to the most people wins. And I truly believe that, to today. And you can be targeted with who you're calling, but if you're talking to people, about real estate, you're really going to win.
Absolutely, man. We're going to leave it with that, guys. Adam's thanking us for doing the interview. Pettigay is thanking us for sharing. Elisa Wallace is thanking us. I've enjoyed it, man. I really appreciate you doing this.
Thanks for having me on, Ricky. I appreciate it.
Cool. Hey, hang out for a second, all right?
All right.
See you guys. Enjoyed it. Much love. Holler at me. We're fixing to start all the coaching members. We're going to start the coaching session in 5 minutes. So I'm going to switch over to the private session, and we'll see you guys soon.